CNN projects Donald Trump wins the presidency.
It's the Batshit.
I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words.
Crazy Pants.
It is time to drain the swamp in Washington, D.C.
Super Show.
But we are transferring power from Washington, D.C. and giving it back to you, the people.
Helping you navigate this Batshit Crazy Pants world.
So I got a president who likes me now.
Look at those hands. Are they small hands?
Are you totally deranged?
And now, your bus driver, Matt Stevens.
Crazy, but that's how it goes. Hello, baby, hello, and welcome to the Batshit Crazy Pants Super Show. I am, of course, your bus driver to the River Styx, Matt Stevens. You can follow me on Twitter at TheMattShow365. You can follow me on Facebook through the same way. You are listening to me on Spreaker in some form, and soon I will let you know we'll be on iTunes. It's very exciting. If you want to listen to my other shows, I have other shows. I do sports. I do musical theater. Yes, that is true. I do a musical theater show called The Musical Show every Sunday night, 7 o'clock. It's fantastic. Themed-based Broadway musicals. Enjoy it. We got a lot to get to today, but of course, as we start every show with a couple reminders.
Earmuffs.
I do curse. Sorry. I can't. It's too much right now. Sometimes I got to say words that you're not going to want to hear. So just always remember that if the kids are around, to make sure.
Earmuffs.
And of course, as always.
Hail Trump!
Indeed.
Hail Trump!
Indeed.
Hail Trump!
Indeed. And we're going to get to the Time interview later. Because if you haven't read this, if you want to, we have a term, if English is not your first language and you're not familiar with this term, but if you are, you know quite well. You can't make this stuff up, right? The idea that it is so completely ludicrous that even the most imaginative humans on Earth could not make this stuff up. Well, you know what? Donald Trump is our president, so that statement is now gone. We need to retire that statement because you can make it up. You can make everything up. Nothing is there should never, ever be another time where we get shocked by anything ever again. Guy goes on a spree in England, killing a bunch of people, born and raised in England. It's nuts. We're going to get to today and racism later. We have a hoax that has been uncovered, thankfully uncovered. You can't make this stuff up is a phrase that needs to be retired. Just saying. I had to get that off my chest. Just saying. We're going to start today. We got a lot to get to. We're going to do a little Russia because we have some new stuff that came out. And folks, it's almost like the Chinese water torture of stories. Like the drip, 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 drip is just getting so aggravatingly ludicrous that I think the drip is going to start to slow as these investigations start to get more and more in depth. But we do have some stuff on that. CNN had a good little report yesterday. We also have our friend, Mr. Schiff, who is on record again talking about it with Chuck Todd. We're going to get to the Trump interview. Yes, Jesus will be making an appearance, but we haven't quite decided how Jesus is going to represent Trump this time. Tweets are usually angry, so we use Scottish Jesus, but this isn't really angry. It's just sort of the ramblings of a madman. So I'm thinking maybe Jesus as an old Jewish guy. I don't know. We'll see. It'll hit me when we get there. I don't know. Or maybe an old Jewish woman. I don't know. I could do both. We'll see. Jesus it can do anything, so we'll ask him when he gets here. The fracture in the Republican Party it's getting epic, folks. The fracturing in the Republican Party is getting epic. We're going to get to their healthcare nonsense later. We also have Today and Racism, and of course the batshit crazy pants thing of the day. And also, while we were thinking about the people of England, and while we were thinking about healthcare and Trump and Russia and every other goddamn thing that's going on in the world, Congress sold you down the river. We'll get to it. But we're going to start with Russia. Because we're getting there, right? Okay? So Comey comes out and he says, we've been investigating since July, and you wanted to kill yourself because you realized that he walked around talking about Hillary's emails like she was trying to overthrow the government with another government, and didn't ever mention that Trump was his campaign was under investigation. So you want to lose your mind over that. But here we go. CNN reported yesterday, and then it's been amended today, okay, that the FBI has information that indicates associates of President Donald Trump communicated with suspected Russian operatives to possibly coordinate the release of information damaging to Hillary Clinton's campaign. That's collusion. They have information that indicates collusion. They're saying they have this. Now, how do they get it? Well, in human intelligence, travel, business and phone records, accounts of in-person meetings. According to those U.S. officials, the information is raising the suspicions of the FBI counterintelligence investigators that are coordinating that the coordination had taken place. So the FBI counterintelligence people looked at all of this and said, whoa, something crazy is going on, and there appears to be collusion. There appears to be evidence of collusion. Now, it's evidence of collusion. But Matt, how is evidence of collusion not collusion? Because phone calls and emails and meetings can seem one way and be something else. Right? So I can meet with my ex-girlfriend while I'm dating someone, and that could be evidence that I'm cheating, but it wasn't because nothing ever happened. Do you see what I'm saying? So they say they have information that points to evidence of collusion, but they don't know quite yet if it's actual collusion. Okay? So CNN reports this. We're going to get to Schiff in a second. Now, look, this isn't... Slow and steady wins the race, okay? And that's how we have to play this, slow and steady. It sucks that Trump is going to be going to be in office the entire time this is happening, and no matter what happens, nothing may never happen to him. It may just be Manafort and Roger Stone and Carter Page and Mike Flynn. Those may be the guys that they throw to the wolves to save Trump. And kind of like Scooter Libby got thrown to the wolves to save Dick Cheney. So that may end up be what's happening here. But we will all know in the end that there was collusion. We all know, right? I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, OJ was found innocent, but we know he's guilty. We just kind of know, okay? So they have a couple problems. One is that the Trump people aren't stupid, and they've kind of stopped really talking to them. Or it's more like a drug thing, right? If you ever watched The Wire, when they found The Wire, they found that they were tapping the pay phones with the beepers. They change up, right? They change up and find a different way to communicate so that the cops can't track their communications. Well, Trump's people in Russia have either done that or just stopped communicating, because the other ways they were communicating, they've stopped. Okay? So they're only going on old information. So you have that. Tacked onto the fact that the FBI counterintelligence agency is notoriously slow. And they should be. Be slow. Get it right. When it's over, I want to know. I want to know the truth. It also brings us back to what we talked about on Tuesday with Breitbart and InfoWars being investigated for the bots perpetuating the fake news back to their sites. That's involved in this as well. I'm going to tell you something right now that's going to sound weird, and you're just going to have to go with it. There is something. We are coming up on, 8 months? The FBI is investigating this for 8 months. They have something, okay? If they had nothing at this point, they would stop. But they have something, and they have something. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't keep doing it. It would make no sense. Because there's not a whole lot of new other than the Mike Flynn stuff over Christmas. The FBI has something. What they have, how much of it they have, we don't know. And we may not know for a while. But, if you listen to Richard Schiff, there is definitely fire. We only see the smoke right now, but he sees the fire.
I got to ask you something that you said also
Chuck
to
Todd,
me on
obviously.
Sunday. Is that you thought that at the time former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper was too definitive when he said no evidence of collusion at the time that he served through essentially January 20th of this year. What basis can you feel confident saying that the Director of National Intelligence oversold something?
Well, look, I don't think it was deliberate on the director's part, but all I can tell you is reviewing the evidence that I have, I don't think you can conclude that at all, far from it.
But you admit it's all you have right now is a circumstantial case.
Actually, no, Chuck. I can tell you that the case is more than that, and I can't go into the particulars, but there is more than circumstantial evidence now. So
there is he would know, right? More than enough. More than circumstantial evidence. More than enough evidence. This is the guy. He's the committee. This is him. Intelligence. He sees all this stuff. He sees stuff that you don't even know exists. He has information that would probably make some of your heads explode. He knows. Now, he can't say anything because it would be wrong. It would be stupid. It would be stupid. But you lay the bait, right? You throw it out there. No, not circumstantial. We have evidence.
Again, I think...
So you have seen direct evidence of collusion?
I don't want to go into specifics, but I will say that there is evidence that is not circumstantial and is very much worthy of investigation. So that is what we ought to do. Now, again, I think we have been dealt a serious body blow to the credibility of our ability to get answers by today's events. And to me, it underscores the importance of having an independent commission look at this as a supplement to anything the Congress does.
Okay, so what he's talking about is Nunes, his counterpart, the Republican, his counterpart, came out and apparently he said some stuff that was classified to reporters, and you can't do that. But also the reason that everybody wants an independent commission, they want somebody else, not Congress, doing it, is because that commission could have subpoena power. See, Congress doesn't really. They can't subpoena the same things. They can compel you to testify, but they don't have the power to subpoena certain things. So they can only go so far, and what the FBI and all those people give them. See, if you get the independent people to do it, plus there's no partisanship. There's no nonsense. Well, you assume. I mean, that's the problem, right? You don't really know. You assume there's no partisanship. There's no nonsense. So we need an independent thing to do this on the outside. So the FBI is investigating. We need an independent counsel to investigate the entire scope of everything to make sure that even the FBI is doing a good job. But Richard Schiff just said, I have more than circumstantial evidence. And when Chuck Todd asked him, so you're saying you have hard evidence? He's like, well, I can't reveal anything, but yeah, pretty much. I have hard evidence. Now we wait. Because he says we have evidence. The FBI thinks, obviously, they have some evidence because they've been investigating this for 8 months. 9 months. So there is fire somewhere. We just can't see it yet. We only see the smoke. But it's coming. It's coming. Now we are going to hit the Trump interview because it's truly, Lord in heaven, it is a spectacle of nonsense and pure malarkey. It really is. It's really, really frightening that the leader of our country talks like this. Here we go. Now, we're going to welcome in Jesus because, this is partly his job, right? He's the voice of Trump on Twitter. So we're going to bring him in to see how we want to do this. So here he is. Jesus. Oh, sorry. Jesus, hold on. I got to play the music. Oh, yeah. Angry Scottish Jesus reading Donald Trump tweets. I said, angry Scottish Jesus reading Trump tweets. He does it to make you laugh. Oh, yes. He does it to make you cry. He does it to remind you that Trump is still president. No. Angry Scottish Jesus reading Donald Trump tweets. I said, angry Scottish Jesus reading Trump tweets. Okay, so here we are. We have a Time magazine. This was, let's see, who was this? Washington Bureau Chief Michael Scherer. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. It's Scherer. This was on the 22nd. So that was yesterday. And so we're trying to decide. It's not really angry. It's very rambly, nonsensical. So Jesus, how do you want to do this? How do you want to go forward? Well, Matt, first of all, let me say hello to everyone out there. It's really nice to be back again. Really, it's excellent to be back. And I've been thinking a lot about this, and I think that I don't know, maybe a mix, maybe, because it's almost like he's fighting with his own mind. It's crazy. It's super nuts. So maybe a mix of old Jewish guy and old Jewish woman would be the way to go. I don't know. Maybe we'll try and see how it goes. What do you think? Jesus, listen, this is your thing, buddy. You do what you want. It's your deal. Take it away. Okay, thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. It's very nice of you. So, Matt, if you don't mind, would you read the questions in a normal voice so people can understand at least the question? Yeah, Jesus, buddy, I'm here for you. Always and forever. So here we go. Mr. Scherer says, hey, Mr. President, thank you for taking the time. How have you been, okay? Yeah, it's been a while, couple months. You keep us busy. Yeah, it's been good, though. It's been good. Do you want to give me a quick overview of the story? Do you want me to give you a quick overview of the story? Yeah, it's a cool story. I mean, the concept is right. I predicted a lot of things, Michael, for some things that come to you a little bit later. But we just rolled out a list. Sweden, I make the statement. Everyone goes crazy. The next day, they have a massive riot and death and problems. Huma and Anthony, that's Huma Abedin and Anthony Vina. You know what I tweeted about that whole deal, and then it turned out he had it. All of Hillary's email on his thing, NATO obsolete, because it doesn't cover terrorism. They fixed that, and I said that the allies must pay. Nobody knew that they were paying. I did. I figured it. Brexit, I was totally right about it. You were over there, I think, when I predicted that, right? The day before Brussels, I said, Brussels is not Brussels. I mean, how many other things? The election's rigged against Bernie Sanders. We have a lot of things. But here's the things. You said that haven't panned out. The peg for this story is the wiretapping hearing on Monday, in which FBI Director James Comey and NSA Director Mike Rogers testified about your tweets there. Well, if you look at it, in fact, I'll give you the front page story. And just today I heard, just a little while ago, that Devin Nunes had a news conference. Did you hear about this? There were a lot of information on tapping. Did you hear about that? I have not, no. Now, remember this. When I said wiretapping, it was in quotes, because a wiretapping is, today is different than wiretapping. It is just a good description, but wiretapping was in quotes. What I'm talking about is surveillance, and today, Devin Nunes just had a news conference. Now, probably got obliterated by what's happened in London, but just had a news conference, and here is one of those things. The other one, election. I said we are going to win. We won! And many other things. And I think this is going to be very interesting. Now, he rambles on because it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. This is where it gets scary, right? So Jesus, I apologize. Oh, it's okay, Matt. Just you can break in every now and then. It's fine. Okay, so this is where it gets crazy. Sure, ask. One of my ideas here is that throughout the campaign and now as president, you have used disputed statements. This is one of them that is disputed. The claim that 3 million undocumented people voted in the election. Well, I think I will be proved right about that too. Still. The claim that Muslims celebrated on 9/11 in New Jersey. Well, if you look at the reporter, he wrote the story in the Washington Post. But my idea is whatever the reality of what you are describing, the fact that they are disputed makes them a more effective message, that you are able to spread the message further, that more people get excited about it, that it gets on TV. Well, now if you take a look at the votes, when I said that, I mean mostly the registered wrong. In other words, for the votes, they register incorrectly and or illegally, and then they vote. You have tremendous numbers of people. In fact, I'm forming a committee on it. But there's no evidence that 3 million people voted with, well, we'll see after the committee. I have people say it with more than that. We will see after we have. What the fuck does that mean? We will see after we have. But there will be. We are forming a committee, and we are going to do a study on it. A very serious problem. And then he goes on to talk about these predictions that he made, and it's nuts. And he keeps talking about the Devin Nunes. See, here's the thing that's crazy about Trump, and this article just sort of sums it up, okay? Because he talks about it too later on. We have a president who literally believes everything he reads from people that he follows. Okay? He talks about Ted Cruz's father, the lie that he perpetuated, that Ted Cruz's father was with Lee Harvey Oswald. Well, that was in a newspaper. No, I like Ted Cruz. He's a friend of mine. Are you kidding me? You and Ted Cruz are friends now? When did that happen? But that was in the newspaper. I didn't say that. I was referring to a newspaper. A Ted Cruz article referring to a newspaper story had a picture of Ted Cruz, his father, and Lee Harvey Oswald having breakfast. Trump continues. I'm just quoting the newspaper, like I quoted the judge the other day, Judge Napolitano. I quoted Judge Napolitano, just like I quoted Brett Baer. Brett Baer mentioned the word wiretap. Now he can deny it or whatever he's doing. But I watched Brett Baer and he used that term. I have a lot of respect for Judge Napolitano, and he said that 3 sources have told him things that would make me right. I don't know where he has gone with it since then, but I'm quoting highly respected people from highly respected television networks. No, you're not! And you are not supposed to listen to them! Brett Baer and Judge Napolitano are not highly respected people anywhere. Okay, yeah, fine. Apologize. I'm sorry. Country clubs. I'm sure they're like super awesome at country clubs. Where's just other white people hanging about? It's nuts. He's taking people who are talking out of their ass and quoting it as scripture and fact. And then he keeps going, right? He keeps talking. But traditionally, people in your position in the Oval Office have not said things unless they can verify they are true. Well, I'm not. Well, I'm not saying, I'm quoting, Michael. I'm quoting highly respected people and sources from major television networks. They aren't the CIA. They aren't the FBI. They aren't the NSA. They aren't the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine. They aren't your national security advisors. They are news people. And it's Fox. Fox would report anything if it thought it would get ratings. And Michael, the reporter, Michael Schur, does a great job because he keeps sort of going after him. But the word salad, because you can see it on Time Magazine, they've actually printed I think this was a phone interview, and they've actually printed the transcript of it. And the epic sort of word salad is amazing. He goes on. And then we're going to get to the next thing. But isn't there... It strikes me there is still an issue of credibility. If the intelligence community came out and said, we have determined that so-and-so is the leaker here, but you are saying to me now that you don't believe the intelligence community when you say your tweet was wrong, when they say your tweet was wrong. Here we go. I'm not saying, no, I'm not blaming, first of all, folks, I couldn't make this up. I'm not saying, no, I'm not blaming, first of all, I put Mike Pompeo in. I put Senator Dan Coates in. These are great people. I think they are great people, and they are going to be. I have a lot of confidence in them. So hopefully things will straighten out. But I inherited a mess. I inherited a mess in so many ways. I inherited a mess in the Middle East, a mess with North Korea. I inherited a mess with jobs, despite the statistics. You know, my statistics are even better, but they are not the real statistics because you have millions of people that can't get a job, okay? I inherited a mess on trade. I mean, we have many. You can go up and down the ladder, but that's the story. Hey, look, in the meantime, I guess I can't be doing so badly because I'm president and you're not, you know? Jesus, did I get a little wise guy in that last thing? Yeah, of course you did, because that's what it sounds like, right? A little De Niro at the end, you know? Because I'm president and you're not, you know? Hey, look, in the meantime, I guess I can't be doing so badly because I'm president and you're not.
Flames on the side of my face, heaving breaths.
Oh, thank you, Madeline. Even though you are insane in that moment, it sort of calms me. Your voice sort of calms me, and I thank you for that. Jesus, I would also like to thank you. Excellent job. You went mostly old Jewish guy. I think you were just feeling it, right? It was just feeling it. Old Jewish guy is a little bit more loopy than the old Jewish lady, right? Yeah. No, man, it's okay. I felt it sounded more. It even sounded a little bit like the way his speech pattern goes. You know, that's kind of the way I like to stay with it. It's fantastic. Jesus, thank you so much for coming in, buddy. We really appreciate it. We will see you the next time Trump goes on a tweet storm. What do you think? Oh, my, that sounds fantastic. I just can't wait for it, you know. I mean, who doesn't love reading Donald Trump tweets? Till next time, America, thank you so much. Oh, here we go, folks. We are going down the rabbit hole of the Supreme Court. The Supremes, as I like to call them. A lot of people call them that. I think it's hysterical. Some people think it's disrespectful. I don't really care. So Gorsuch has been getting grilled over the past couple days. If you haven't watched some of the footage, I definitely recommend it. The Democrats have done an excellent job in these hearings. The confirmation hearings for the cabinet and also for Gorsuch, of really grilling these people to show the truth about who they really are. If you want to go ahead and watch Stuart Smalley, he does an amazing job of grilling him on one of the rulings he had where the truck driver could have died and left and was fired, and he agreed that that's okay for the business to do. Just listen to it. There are things in this world that make me want to rip out what's left of my hair, and one of them is lawyer talk, okay? When a lawyer speaks and refuses to answer questions because it might pin them down to something, it is truly his answers will, and they make Franken really nuts too, right? You can hear him. He says actually one time, you know, it's a simple yes or no answer. Just answer yes or no. It's a simple question. It's not that simple, actually. It's just really... No, it is. Really, sometimes it's that freaking simple. And sometimes it's not, as we're going to get to a little later in healthcare. Here's the thing that scares you about Gorsuch. He said that Roe v. Wade is the law of the land, and I have to take his word that he's going to keep that the law of the land. That doesn't mean that when certain laws that get passed to limit abortion come before his desk, he won't vote for them. He's saying that he won't overturn Roe v. Wade, but I'm sure he'll do everything he can to limit powers. What scares me more about guys like Gorsuch is his religiosity, his sort of need and want to push his moral superiority bullcrap down my throat. This was from his dissenting opinion when he was with the 10th Circuit Court, when he was sitting on the Hobby Lobby case. If you don't remember Hobby Lobby, they sued Obama because they felt that they shouldn't have to even carry contraceptive as a company because the people who own the company are religious and contraception is evil, and they didn't even want to cover it on their things, even though they said their religious freedom was being attacked, which it wasn't. Their religious freedom being attacked would have been Obamacare forcing them to take it. So they don't understand that. This was his dissent. This was in one of his just listen, I'm going to read it to you, okay? Because it scares the hell out of me. Now, if you can get by the lawyer speak, and we'll try and speak through that. If you can get through the lawyer speak, we'll try and figure it out. All of us face the same problem of complicity. All of us must answer for ourselves whether and to what degree we are willing to be involved in the wrongdoing of others. For some, religion provides an essential source of guidance both about what constitutes wrongful conduct and the degree to which those who assist others in committing wrongful conduct themselves bear moral culpability. The Greens, owners of the Hobby Lobby stores, are among those who seek guidance from their faith and on these questions. He, in this statement, is arguing the right of people to decide for you if it goes against their moral superiority or their faith. That's what he's talking about. When he talks about the answer whether ourselves, to what degree we are willing to be involved in the wrongdoing of others. Now, there are certain times when we absolutely should be involved in the wrongdoing of others, right? We're talking about murder. We're talking about rape. We're talking about incest. We're talking about child abuse. We're talking about abuse. We're talking about things that are actually illegal. What he's talking about are things like contraception and abortion and things like that, and gay marriage probably. I'm not going to throw that in there, but I'm going to assume that he's talking partly about that. And what he's saying is that since you can't make the decision for yourself because your faith either is corrupt or false or you're an atheist and you have no faith, that your moral guidance is off so that we get to make the decisions for you. He was saying that Hobby Lobby should have been allowed to make the decisions for its employees whether or not they should be allowed to take birth control. This is a guy who might be on the Supreme Court. We're going to get to that in a second. And this is what you should be scared about. All the other stuff falls right into this. Forget that he's a corporatist. I'm going to assume any judge that comes up to the Supremes at this point is some sort of corporatist who would never vote for the people, but rather with the corporate lobby that's probably keeping his wife rich or even them rich. Who knows? But this religiosity, this moral superiority, this idea that because I'm an atheist, I can't be counted upon to make the right moral decision, that people should be allowed to make it for me. And the crazy thing is that this man who's on the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, who might be on the Supreme Court, doesn't fucking understand the goddamn Constitution of the United fucking States. That is religious persecution. Textbook. If you looked up religious persecution, this statement would come up. Because you're pushing your moral superiority on me when we are not doing something that is illegal by the law, but by your standards of what is illegal. That is you pushing your religion on me. That goes against the First Amendment all the way. Not even close. All the time. And this guy's going to be on the Supreme Court. It's nuts. It's nuts. And I cannot friggin' believe I'm about to say this, but here goes. Chuck Schumer, by the way, guys, Chuck Schumer. Just saying, Chuck Schumer. I'm just going to let you listen to what Chuck Schumer had to say, because last week we talked about the Democrat who released the ridiculous bill in the state house in New York State, wanting to impose a fine, and I said that was stupid. And I said that I would talk about Democrats when they either did something, grew a set, or said something. And then Chuck Schumer actually might have grown a set today. Here you go. Take a listen. It's very fun.
The Supreme Court matters a great deal. It matters for workers who want to protect both their lives and their jobs, for employees who need to be able to seek redress for discrimination, for parents who want their kids to get a fair shake in the education system. It is with all this in mind that I have come to a decision about the current nominee. After careful deliberation, I have concluded that I cannot support Judge Neil Gorsuch's nomination to the Supreme Court. His nomination will have a cloture vote. He will have to earn 60 votes for confirmation. My vote will be no, and I urge my colleagues to do the same.
Now, if they actually are able to do it by cloture vote, which means 60 votes, they need the 60-vote majority, he won't get nominated. Because I'm here to tell you, and I've already seen this started. Here's the thing, guys. Any person who votes for Neil Gorsuch as Supreme Court, you are getting primaried and you are going to lose. It is time, Democratic Party, to gather, to unite. And understand that this is a bad guy who's 49 or 50 years old or something like nuts age for a lifetime appointment, who is a religious zealot crackpot. I don't care how normal he seems. I don't care how nice he is. I don't care. Every time you look at one of his opinions, it is never for the person. It is never for the people. It is either for his interests or the interests of big corporation or for a religious faith. So Democrats, you have a choice here. You have a choice and you have a voice. You can stop this from happening. You can all vote no every single time, no matter what. I don't care if we have a fucking Supreme Court of 4-4 for the rest of my fucking life. This guy should never sit on the bench, ever. Especially not put there by a guy under investigation by the FBI for colluding with Russia during the freaking election. If Obama doesn't get his for a year with no scandals, and you said Hillary Clinton shouldn't be allowed to run for president while under investigation by the FBI, when you were under investigation by the FBI while you were running for president and still under investigation while you're putting people up in the Supreme Court, no. If you vote yes, you're getting primaried, and you are going to lose. On to healthcare, which is always a good time because, I mean, who doesn't love reading and friggin' talking about healthcare? It's all the rage these days. The fracture is getting big, folks. It's getting beyond fixing, I think, is the real thing here we have to worry about. It can't be fixed, and I don't know if it ever will be fixed. The repeal and blah, blah, blah was supposed to take place in the House. It's been postponed. There's a possibility of a vote tomorrow. We don't really know. What you have right now is what was inevitable in this version of the Republican Party. When you have Tea Party extremists and moderate Republicans waxed by the anything you say to win guys in the middle, what you get is infighting. And what you have right now is you have a group of people called the House Freedom Caucus who want basically everything stripped out of Obamacare, even the law requiring that everybody be covered and keeping young adults on their plans until 26 years old. And that, them yelling about not voting it because they want those things taken away, has gotten more moderate Republicans to say, whoa, 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 we didn't really want to go with this one, but we definitely don't want to go with this one. and they don't have a vote. They might have one tomorrow. We don't know yet. But the bigger problem here is this, is you have people that have sold Donald Trump as a guy who can get things done, who can get people in a room and work his Donald Trump magic, his ability to get people in a room and sell them something so well that no matter how shitty it is or how awful it is or how much it hurts the American people, he can sell it to them as being great, right? He's a closer. That's what they call him. Sean Spicer even called him that. He said he's the closer. The closer. Not the TV show. Donald Trump is the closer. He can close any deal. The art of the deal. I'm a deal maker. I close deals. His first deal as president, and he can't close it. And this should be the easiest fucking thing in the world, right? They've been talking about this for 7 years. Repeal and replace. We're going to repeal and replace. Well, they have a plan to replace, even though it sucks. And then they're going to repeal, and they can't do it. They can't do it. They can't do it. Do you see how bad this is? This isn't Democrats holding this up. This isn't Democrats filibustering and not even allowing a vote to the floor. This is Republicans pulling their own health care bill back because they don't have support from their own people. And it's not because they don't have support from people for the same reason. They have problems because one side wants too much and one side is scared that that side wants so much that they're going to get screwed. And the guys in the middle are the one holding the bag. Paul Ryan, Kevin McCarthy, Donald Trump, the closer, right? He's a closer. And then you have this, Bradley Byrne, Republican Alabama, who comes out and is just throwing, he's just like, I don't care.
What's your message to members of the Freedom Caucus?
Time to make a decision, gentlemen and ladies. Time to make a decision. And this is one of those moments where you've got to say who you really are deep inside of you. Are you for President Trump and repealing and replacing Obamacare, or are you against President Trump and you're against repealing and replacing Obamacare? It's that simple. And when you get it down to making it that simple, it's a pretty easy decision.
See, but that's the problem, though. It's not that simple. Because maybe you're not with Trump, or maybe you don't like the health care bill. It's not as simple as we really want to do this, so we're just going to do it willy-nilly. See, what the problem is that you're a simpleton. Okay, Byrne? You're a simpleton. You're a guy who sees things in black and white, and people like you should never run for office because black and white doesn't work when you're talking about people. You think that it's either Trump's thing is so much better than Obama, we should just repeal and replace no matter what. Well, people see it differently than that. And for you to say that is typical, first of all, of Republicans. Like, they just talk in such platitude nonsense and such simplistic ideas that it makes you wonder how they could even write a bill that gave anybody health care. Which, by the way, damn it. It's not I cannot remember the institute, but somebody came out with a study that said that if they just flat repealed Obamacare, more people would have health care than under Trump care. So this is the problem, right? Because he's one of the guys. He's one of the Trump guys, right? This guy's going to get something from Trump. He wants something from Trump. He's one of the Trump guys. He's one of the guys that won by saying we're going to repeal Obamacare. And now he's pissed off that his colleagues have a conscience and might actually want something for the people that they represent. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's not that simple. You're either with us or against us. See, for somebody who's an idiot like you, you're either with us or against us. I get it. But it's not that simple. And I wish it was. Next up, while we were sleeping, I believe this was yesterday, the Senate voted 50-48 to kill the FCC rule blocking your ISP from selling your browsing history to the advertising industry without permission. Now, what does that mean for you? Well, it means that you're going to have more targeted ads towards you, maybe even phone calls. But more importantly, the people that are selling this, you're not making any money off. They're making money off you. You have roughly 70% of the country with either broadband connection or internet connection. They're profiting off your use of the internet by selling what you search to people who are interested in that information for any number of reasons. And who wins? Verizon, Comcast, Time Warner, which is not Time Warner, it's Spectrum. Whatever. But they sold you down the river. They used to need your approval to do this. Now, I'm sure they got most of our approval by having us sign some long-ass contract that no one's going to read, where in fine print on page 50 it says, we can sell your things to the other people. We don't really care. But the ISPs, they're kind of like run the internet. And the Senate doesn't care because big corporations will make money. Now, you may never notice that this happens because I see it on my computer now. I just go to I go to Amazon and I search for something. Next thing I know, I'm on Facebook and there's a ad for that thing I just searched for. You know what I mean? Like, it's happening. But we used to have a way out. We used to be able to say you can't do that, and they wouldn't be able to do that. Now they don't even have to tell you. So when you start seeing targeted ads, know that the Senate voted while we were talking about England and we were talking about Russia and we were talking about Trump and collusion and we were talking about, any number of things that are going on, 3 million voters and yada, yada, yada. The Senate voted 50-48 to sell you all down the river. Let's have some fun, shall we? Because there's nothing more fun than showing how stupid and idiotic white people can be.
Today in racism.
We have two really sort of awful stories for you today. One happened in New York. A guy drove up from Baltimore and just decided to start killing black people. He said, I came up here to kill black people. And he did. He said that he is they said he is a former military, a white supremacist, and he had traveled to New York to kill black people because black men romantic involvement with white women. Not his woman, not anybody he may know, just he didn't like interracial relations of any way. And this guy came up here and killed one man yesterday, 66-year-old Timothy Cowman. I know I'm pronouncing this wrong, and I am so sorry. Caughman in Midtown on Tuesday night. Now, we were talking about this at work today where I work, and there's a woman there who likes to argue with me, and sometimes I think she takes the other side just to make my head explode, and that's fine. I like to flesh out all sides of arguments. And she said to me that, how is this terrorism? She asked, and it wasn't ignorance. She wants to know because she looks at it as just flat racism, right? But as we know, the definition of terrorism, the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of a political aim. Now, his political aim was racism. It was a racist intent. But the idea that you are going to just walk around killing black people because they are dating white women, or you think they're dating white women, or whatever your crazy-ass excuse is terrorism. You are terrorizing black men for no reason. It doesn't matter what your intent is. The act alone is terrorism. And that's how we have to start doing. That's how we have to start describing. That's how we have to start talking about these things. Because it's all terrorism. Dylan Roof, terrorism. Colorado, all the times, terrorism. You don't have to have a turban on. You don't have to have a name with Muhammad. You don't have to you don't have to be from Iran or Iraq or whatever, or Saudi Arabia. You don't have to be from any of those places. Terrorism is terrorism. It has a definition, has a meaning. It is something. And when you see it, you have to point it out and call it what it is. This is terrorism where the political pursuit was racism. But it gets better. A girl in Texas said that she was raped by 3 black men. She wasn't. And this takes you back to, I can't remember the names of all these people, but there was a woman in North Carolina, I want to say it was maybe Virginia, where she killed her 3 kids and said that a black guy stole her car and killed her kids. This is Breonna Talbot Dennison of Texas. She said she was kidnapped by 3 black men wearing ski masks. He drove her into the woods and raped her. She apparently had walked into a local church half naked, covered in cuts and scratches. Her fiancé had called that she was missing the day before because her back door was wide open. Tuesday, she admitted that it was false. Now, the police were suspicious of this all the time. I'm not sure they ever looked for any black guys, to be honest with you, because when they took her to the medical center, the staff could find no evidence of sexual assault. They launched an investigation because you have... This is what hurts, right? This is what hurts the most is the girl who cried wolf, right? Because that just hurts every other woman who comes along now and has a real story, of rape, and a horrible story. We're going to get to another thing in a second. So the girl who cried wolf is ruining it again for everybody. But it's always 3 black men. Why couldn't it have been 3 white guys? She's white. Why couldn't it have been 3 white guys? Why have to be 3 black guys? Because she thinks in Texas, 3 black guys, they're going to investigate that and just assume it was 3 black guys. They're not going to care that the medical center didn't find any sexual abuse. And you'll hear about it in some places, but you won't hear about it that much. White girl. Oh, she's crazy. That was the other thing about the guy who drove up. He's crazy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can't just blame black people because you went on a bender and woke up in the woods with no clothes on. Oh, black people rape me, or oh, it's my daddy might hurt me, or my boyfriend might think I'm cheating on him. Now, we are lucky that this happened pretty quick and that no guys were ever brought in for questioning or anything like that they didn't go through a hoax or, through an entire thing and bring a guy in and blah, blah, blah. And she might go to prison. Might. Let me tell you what you want to stop this crap from happening? Make the penalty for having a false report be huge. Be huge. Because then you might stop this crap from happening. If she was maybe threatened to go to jail for 10 years for making a false report against 3 black guys and wasting the time, money, and resources of the police department, maybe then she would think twice before the next time she did something. So just absolutely ignorantly racist and idiotic. But I doubt it.
It's time for the Batshit.
Hail Trump.
It means that what the Jews have, we have.
The worst.
Crazy pants.
Perpetual war, corruption, and pedophilia party.
Help, help, I'm being repressed.
For some reason, homosexuality has become the issue for the left. It's satanic.
Brain Games is now over.
Thing of the day. Happy Our Batshit thing of the day is pretty simple. Down in Oklahoma, at their house, the Oklahoma State House, there was two representatives. They were talking about a bill which would prohibit anyone from seeking an abortion in the case of a genetic abnormality. Now, the questions that are about to be asked, that this really has nothing to do with it. It's the answers, right? That's the Batshit thing of the day. So we have Rep. Corey Williams, who is a Democrat. He is talking to oh my God, where did it go? George Faught, who is a Republican from the same state. And this is the exchange. The first person talking would be Corey. The second person talking will be George.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative, is rape the will of God?
Well, you know, if you read the Bible, there's actually a couple of circumstances where that happened. And the Lord uses all circumstances.
No. Why do you make it hard? No. Is rape the will of God? No. There is no... You can't tell me that God, who's supposed to be everywhere and loving and giving, thinks that rape is good just to build somebody up. Just to, this person needs a pick-me-up. Let me have him raped. That'll help. The simple answer is no, but the Bible, it happens in the Bible, so it's okay. And all this is lawyers drooling. The Bible says it okay, so my client raped this girl. I mean, I don't understand.
I mean, you know, you can go down that path, but you know, it's a reality, unfortunately.
Gentleman's recognized.
That doesn't make any sense.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is incest the will of God?
No.
Same answer. Doesn't deal with this bill.
Gentleman's recognized for a follow-up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With all due respect, I think it absolutely is on point. You won't make any exceptions for rape. You won't make any exceptions for incest in this, and you are proffering divine intervention as the reason why you won't do that. And so I think it is very important this body wants to know, myself personally, whether you believe rape and incest are actually the will of God.
You know, it's a great question to ask. And obviously, if it happens in someone's life, it may not be the best thing that ever happened, you know. But
you think?
So you're saying that God is not sovereign with every activity that happens in someone's life and can't use anything and everything in someone's life, and I disagree with that.
There you go. There you go. Same answer. But no, you're proffering it. Where are we here? And obviously it happens in someone's life. It may not be the best thing that ever happened. You think it might not be the best thing that ever happened? So you're saying that God is not sovereign with every activity that happens in someone's life and can't use anything and everything in someone's life. And I disagree with that. Except the problem is that God gave us free will. So that's him telling us that he is not sovereign in every activity that happens in someone's life. That's what free will is. If God was sovereign in every activity that happens in your life, you would be forced to follow him. No, not forced. You would just follow him. But we have free will. We have the abilities to make our own decisions. And that right there, no matter what the fucking Bible says, that right there tells you that he is not. I don't believe he exists, but I'll have this discussion with you just because. Do you see the problem? No, rape and incest are not God's will. There is no way that God would be like, you know what? That person needs to be taught a lesson. Let's rape that girl. And I got to tell you, if that's the God you believe in, you can keep him. Seriously, you can keep it, because that's not a God I would ever believe in, because that makes no sense. You can keep your God. I'll go with the God who would choose to pick that person up in some other way rather than raping them. Thank you so much for listening to the Batshit Crazy Pants Super Show. You can always follow me on Twitter at TheBatShow365 and on Facebook at the same number, the same name. Anyway, as always, Clint plays us out.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.